The story begins in 800 BC in a desert in North Africa, where an unknown spaceship is seen landing near a tribe close to a pyramid. The sight of the spaceship astonishes and shocks all the villagers. However, one fearless man, unafraid of anything, starts walking toward the spaceship. The scene then shifts to 1928 to a village in Egypt where many laborers are excavating in search of something. During the excavation, they discover numerous fossils indicating the presence of aliens, along with several objects unknown to both scientists and ordinary people. At the site, a professor arrives to oversee the research, accompanied by his daughter, Rihanna. This is a new experience for her, as she has never visited such places with her father before. During the mining process, Rihanna finds a sacred locket, which she considers valuable and precious, and decides to keep it. The laborers then discover a strange circular object, the likes of which have never been mentioned in any books or historical records. The scene then moves forward to 1994, where we meet Dr. John, a researcher sharing his findings with an audience. He explains his theories and insights based on years of research. Dr. John claims that the Great Pyramids of Egypt were not built by humans, but by an unknown civilization. However, no one in the audience believes his claims, dismissing them as baseless, and they begin to leave. Among the crowd is Rihanna, now an elderly woman. She listens to Dr. John's theories and finds them intriguing. Impressed by his perspective, she realizes that there is something unique about Dr. John, as he dared to make such bold claims about the pyramids. Rihanna, determined to continue her late father's research project known as Stargate, decides to include Dr. John in her team. She believes Dr. John has the skills and expertise necessary to further her research. Rihanna tells Dr. John that her team needs someone who can read and understand ancient languages, and she believes no one is better suited for the role than him. Dr. John, intrigued by the opportunity to work on something meaningful after years, agrees to join her team. He deciphers a sequence of ancient language inscriptions, which had previously been incorrectly interpreted, proving his capabilities to the team. This gives Rihanna's team confidence in his abilities. Meanwhile, Colonel Keyes, the new head of the project, arrives, taking charge of all project information. During the research, Dr. John examines a stone inscribed with ancient symbols, but struggles to decipher its meaning. The stone dates back to 800 BC, and understanding the language from that time seems impossible. Beneath this stone lies the same mysterious circular object discovered in 1928. After several failed attempts at deciphering the symbols, Dr. John notices a security guard reading a newspaper that mentions the Orion Belt constellation. Comparing the star alignments in the newspaper with the symbols on the stone, Dr. John realizes a connection. He determines that following these symbols could allow them to travel to another world. The next day, Dr. John shares his findings with the team. He draws 6 points on a board, explaining that these points form the center for time travel, enabling them to witness the past. However, one scientist points out that they need a 7th point to complete the sequence. Dr. John then reveals that the 7th point is Earth itself. To explain further, he draws a pyramid and 2 figures on the board, stating that the pyramid's location on Earth is the key. The team begins to understand his theory, but the scientist discloses a classified detail. The circular object, referred to as the Stargate, doesn't align perfectly with John's findings. Realizing he lacks complete information about the project, Dr. John examines the Stargate, which is spinning continuously. Within the Stargate, he identifies a symbol pointing toward the 7th point. He combines the 7th point's coordinates with the other 6, causing the Stargate to activate. The Stargate opens a portal, and the team, overjoyed, sends a camera through it to observe the other side. They discover another Earth-like planet inhabited by ordinary people. This planet also has a Stargate, which could potentially allow them to return. However, the symbols and language on the other Stargate are unfamiliar to John's team, making a return journey uncertain. Despite the risks, Dr. John convinces the team to explore the new world. Before the journey, Rihanna gives John the sacred locket she found in 1928, suggesting it might be useful. Dr. John keeps it and enters the portal with the team. On the other side, they exit through a pyramid and find themselves in a barren desert. With nothing but endless sand in sight, they are unsure of which direction to take. Realizing the danger of getting lost, the team considers returning through the portal. However, Dr. John discovers that the coordinates for the 7 points are missing from this Stargate, leaving them stranded. Disheartened, a frustrated teammate throws John's belongings into the desert. While retrieving them, John notices footprints in the sand. Following the tracks, he encounters a large domesticated animal, indicating the presence of a nearby settlement. Reuniting with the team, they follow the animal, eventually reaching a village. The inhabitants of this world appear primitive, relying on ancient techniques for survival. When they see the sacred locket around John's neck, they mistake him for a god. The village chief takes John and his team to a sacred stone inscribed with the same symbols as the locket. Treated as divine beings, John and his team are offered food, shelter, and hospitality. As part of the village's customs, John is dressed in new clothes and sent to a private room, where the village's most beautiful woman, Sio, enters. She begins to undress, but John stops her, refusing to engage in such activities. Instead, he draws a pyramid on the ground and tries to ask Sio about the coordinates of the Stargate. Though Sio doesn't understand his language, she draws a pyramid with a sun above it, hinting at a possible clue. Sio takes John to a hidden chamber filled with symbols and drawings, revealing the history of the pyramids. Thousands of years ago, an alien named Uru, nearing the end of his life, traveled across planets seeking a way to regenerate himself. Unable to find the necessary powers on other planets, Uru landed on Earth, where he merged his soul and knowledge with the fearless man who approached him. Declaring himself a god, Uru commanded the villagers to build pyramids and used the Stargate to gather people from across Earth to mine a material that would enhance his powers. However, as humans grew wiser, they revolted, hiding the Stargate and banishing Uru from Earth. The story continues with Uru not fleeing out of fear, but hiding to increase his strength so that when he returns to Earth, he can annihilate humanity completely. John discovers a strange stone with all the coordinates necessary to return to their world. However, part of the stone is broken, making the complete coordinates unclear. This leaves John and his team with only partial coordinates. At the same time, a new challenge arises for the team. A massive spaceship resembling a pyramid lands near them. Aliens emerge from the spaceship, killing 2 members of John's team and capturing 2 others. This spaceship symbolizes Uru's return, meaning Uru has now acquired divine powers, making it impossible for any ordinary human to defeat him. Meanwhile, John and Colonel Keyes, along with their companions, move toward the alien pyramid. Sio, who had been helping John, also follows with some of her friends to assist the team. When John's team sees the alien spaceship, they are stunned and unable to comprehend what it is. While investigating inside the spaceship, the aliens suddenly attack, using advanced weapons. Despite the odds, John and his team manage to escape the aliens' attacks and flee back to the location of their Stargate. Upon reaching the Stargate, Colonel Keyes begins searching through his belongings instead of focusing on the alien threat. When John asks him what he is looking for, Colonel Keyes remains silent. At that moment, aliens arrive and capture both John and Colonel Keyes, taking them to their god, Uru. Here, for the first time, Uru reveals himself. His physical body resembles that of a human, but he houses an alien within. This body originally belonged to the fearless man who approached Uru's spaceship in 800 BC. Uru took control of this man's body, allowing him to dominate humanity. Uru's followers present a bomb, which reveals to John that Colonel Keyes had brought it without informing him. To protect himself and John, Colonel Keyes attempts to kill Uru using a weapon taken from one of the aliens. However, Uru summons several children, using his powers to control them as shields, forcing Colonel Keyes to halt his attack. Enraged by Colonel Keyes' actions, Uru's followers begin beating him. When one of them attempts to kill Colonel Keyes with a sharp object, John sacrifices himself to save him. Despite this, Uru is displeased with Colonel Keyes and decides to punish him by targeting innocent people in Egypt. Uru attacks a village with his spaceship, killing many innocent people who had done nothing wrong. The villagers, unaware of the truth, believe their god is angry with them and blame themselves for the attack. In reality, Uru uses this as a demonstration of his power, showing Colonel Keyes that he can do anything to humanity. Uru imprisons Colonel Keyes as punishment to teach him a lesson. Meanwhile, John awakens in a chamber that has the ability to revive any deceased human body. John realizes he has been brought back to life. Uru approaches him and reveals that Colonel Keyes brought the bomb to destroy Uru's universe. Uru announces his plan to enhance the bomb with materials from his world and send it back to Earth through the Stargate, ensuring Earth's complete destruction. Uru tells John that the next day he will present him before his followers, where John will be forced to kill his remaining teammates to convince the followers that Uru is their only true god. If John complies, it will appear to the followers that their god is making the right decisions. The next day, the entire village gathers to witness John. He is handed a weapon to kill his teammates in front of everyone. Suddenly, a man in the crowd signals John using sunlight, revealing that some villagers want to help him. Sio had already informed the villagers that Uru is not a god, but an alien exploiting them for centuries. Armed with this knowledge, some villagers, willing to sacrifice their lives, begin firing their weapons into the air, creating chaos. Taking advantage of the situation, John turns on Uru's followers instead of killing his teammates. Amidst the chaos, John rescues his companions and hides in a secret location safe from Uru's forces. That night, Colonel Keyes admits he brought the bomb as a last resort to protect the team. If they couldn't return to Earth, his plan was to detonate the bomb, saving everyone by destroying the alien world. Meanwhile, John learns that he has been married to Sio as part of the village's customs and realizes that she genuinely loves him. John also deeply cares for her but prioritizes saving his team. Sio's brother provides John with a clue by drawing a pyramid with 3 suns, helping him deduce the correct coordinates to return to Earth. Elsewhere, an alien transporting materials to the spaceship is ambushed and killed by Colonel Keyes and his companions. Seeing this, the villagers kneel before John's team, finally realizing they had been enslaved by disguised aliens all along. John activates a mechanism on the alien's body, revealing its transformation into a human-like form. This confirms to the villagers that they had been serving aliens masquerading as gods. John, along with some team members, ventures inside the pyramid to retrieve the bomb. They are attacked by Uru's forces but manage to fight their way through and reach the bomb. Colonel Keyes proposes activating the bomb to destroy Uru, while the rest of the team uses the Stargate to return to Earth. During this discussion, an alien attacks, killing Sio. Devastated, John places her in the resurrection chamber, successfully bringing her back to life. However, Uru arrives and places his hand on John's head, causing him immense pain. Meanwhile, Colonel Keyes fights off an alien attacker and lures them toward the teleportation light. A massive machine falls on the attacker, killing them. John and Sio use the light to escape, narrowly saving themselves. Outside the pyramid, the villagers rise against Uru, determined to end his tyranny. Overwhelmed by their numbers, Uru attempts to flee in his spaceship. At the same time, Colonel Keyes activates the bomb and places it under the teleportation machine, opening a portal that sends the bomb directly into Uru's spaceship. Uru notices something being teleported onto his ship and realizes it's a bomb. With only 3 seconds left before detonation, the bomb explodes, obliterating the spaceship and Uru, erasing him forever. The villagers, finally free after years of oppression, celebrate their liberation. John's team enters the correct coordinates and opens the Stargate portal. However, John decides not to return to Earth. Having fallen in love with Sio, he chooses to stay in this world with her. The movie ends with John embracing his new life while the villagers celebrate their newfound freedom, and the Stargate closes behind the departing team.